You know that sinking feeling when you can feel your dog's ribs, and no matter how much you feed them, they just won't gain a pound? I've been there desperately buying every shiny tub on the pet store shelf, only to deal with upset stomachs and zero results. Finding a weight gain supplement that actually works without wreaking havoc on their digestion feels impossible. Well, I finally did the heavy lifting so you don't have to. I tested the top options out there, and one of these completely transformed my dog in weeks. Let's count down the top 5. 5. Pet Science Healthy Weight Supplement. When I first brought this one home, I was genuinely excited by the ingredient list. It boasts a completely natural profile, heavily focused on healthy fats and whole food sources, which is exactly what you want to see when you're trying to bulk up a scrawny pup safely. The powder format seemed straightforward enough, and the promise of a high-calorie boost without a bunch of synthetic fillers definitely caught my attention right out of the gate. Applying it to my dog's daily routine, however, started to reveal a few cracks in the armor. When a product is a loose powder, you really have to rely on it blending well with their regular food. I found that unless you are feeding a strictly wet food diet or adding a significant amount of warm water to dry kibble, this powder just kind of sits at the bottom of the bowl like sawdust. It requires quite a bit of aggressive mixing to get a uniform consistency, which honestly adds an annoying extra step to meal prep when you're rushing out the door in the morning. Then there's the issue of palatability. While the brand claims it's highly appealing to dogs, my experience was a bit of a mixed bag. For a dog that is already underweight, appetite is usually a massive struggle. When I introduced this to my notoriously picky eater, they took one sniff and actually backed away. It has a very distinct, earthy aroma that some dogs just fundamentally reject. I had to resort to hiding it in high-value treats like peanut butter just to get it down, defeating the whole purpose of an easy meal additive. 4. Under the Weather Pet Supplement. This one takes a completely different approach from a powder, coming in a dial-a-dose syringe loaded with a high-calorie gel. My initial thought was that this would completely solve the picky eater problem. After all, if they won't eat it out of a bowl, you can just administer it directly into their mouth. It's marketed heavily toward dogs that are recovering from illness or refusing to eat altogether, packing a massive caloric punch into a very small volume. The formula itself is rich in malt extract and fish oils, designed to provide immediate energy and stimulate the appetite. When I first tested this on a dog recovering from minor surgery who had lost significant weight, it did exactly what it promised in terms of delivering raw calories. You don't need to feed them cups of extra kibble. Just a few cc's of this gel gives them the equivalent of small meal. For emergency weight maintenance, the concept is incredibly sound and scientifically backed. But well, using the actual syringe is where the frustration really sets in. The gel is incredibly thick and notoriously sticky. Trying to dial in the exact dosage on the plastic tube is surprisingly finicky, and pushing the plunger down requires more force than you'd expect. More than once, I ended up squirting a massive, sticky glob onto the kitchen floor instead of into my dog's mouth. Furthermore, because it's such a concentrated blast of fat and calories, introducing it too quickly caused some pretty unpleasant digestive upset. We are talking about loose stools, which is the absolute last thing you want when your dog is already struggling to retain weight. 3. ProDog Muscle Plus. Now we're starting to shift away from the emergency calorie pastes and into supplements designed to build actual healthy mass. What immediately caught my eye about this one is that it isn't just about packing on fat. It's specifically formulated to support muscle growth and recovery. This is fantastic if you have a highly active, working breed or a rescue dog that needs to rebuild atrophied muscles rather than just gaining a soft, heavy belly. While I got my hands on this tub, I was pleased to see a heavily organic ingredient profile featuring things like whey protein, flaxseed, and even specific herbs for digestion. Testing it out, the difference in quality was palpable. Unlike the chalky powders we discussed earlier, this blend has a much finer texture that actually adheres to kibble when slightly moistened. I didn't have to vigorously stir it for 5 minutes. A quick toss with a splash of warm water created a nice, even coating that my dog didn't actively try to pick around. The results were also incredibly encouraging. Over the course of a few weeks, the weight gain was steady and visibly lean. I wasn't just seeing a heavier dog on the scale. I was seeing a broader chest and more defined legs. Plus, the digestive issues I experienced with the heavy gels were completely non-existent here. The added probiotics in their formula really seemed to soothe my dog's gut, meaning every single calorie was actually being absorbed and utilized properly instead of just passing through. 2. Miracle Vet High-Calorie Liquid Supplement. Let me tell you, switching to a liquid formula was an absolute game-changer in my testing process. Miracle Vet completely eliminates the sticky messes of gels and the mixing frustrations of powders. It comes in a sleek bottle, and the consistency is smooth and pourable, much like a thick syrup. It boasts an impressive 2,400 calories per 16 ounces, making it one of the most calorie-dense liquids currently available on the market. What really blew me away was how incredibly palatable this stuff is. They utilize a whey protein and fish oil base, which apparently tastes like a 5-star meal to canines. When I pour just a small amount over a bowl of dry kibble, my dog, who usually grazes slowly all day, devoured the entire bowl in seconds and actually licked the ceramic clean. You don't have to force feed them or hide this in a piece of cheese. They view it as a high-value treat. You can even draw it up into a syringe and administer it directly with zero resistance because they love the flavor so much. The physical transformation I witnessed with Miracle Vet was rapid and undeniably impressive. Because it's in a liquid state, the nutrient absorption is lightning fast. Within just 10 days, the hollowed-out look along my dog's ribs started to vanish. But the secondary benefits were almost as impressive as the weight gain itself. Thanks to the massive dose of omega-3s from the fish oil, my dog's coat went from dull and brittle to incredibly glossy and soft. It essentially acted as a premium skin and coat supplement on top of being an incredible mass gainer. 1. Bully Max Dog Supplement. I'll admit, with a name like Bully Max, I initially thought this might just be a gimmicky product marketed purely to pit bull owners wanting tough-looking dogs. But after putting it to the test, I was completely humbled. This isn't just a marketing ploy. It is simply the most effective, well-rounded, and easily digestible mass gainer I have ever used on absolutely any breed of dog. What sets Bully Max apart from every other product on this list is its absolute lack of cheap fillers. There is no hidden soy, no corn, and no artificial flavors designed to trick your dog into eating garbage. Instead, it is packed with high-quality whey protein, complex carbohydrates, and essential amino acids. I tested their high-calorie chews, and the convenience factor is entirely off the charts. Instead of mixing powders or pouring sticky liquids, you literally just toss them what looks like a treat. They ate it instantly, begged for more, and the daily dosing took exactly 3 seconds. The results were nothing short of phenomenal. While the liquids provided fast fat, Bully Max provided dense, solid muscle mass. My dog didn't just get heavier. They got significantly stronger, more energetic, and visibly healthier. It completely overhauled their physique in less than a month. Their stamina at the park doubled, and their overall vitality skyrocketed. It was like I had traded my sluggish, skinny dog in for a completely new, vibrant animal. The way it comprehensively supports their immune system and joint health while simultaneously packing on pounds is entirely unmatched. If you're tired of wasting money on supplements that your dog won't eat, or that simply pass right through them with zero results, Bully Max is the ultimate solution. Outro. That's all for today.